Testing. Okay, so today is a little bit late, like later than usual, but anyways, it's fine. Alright, so let's begin. I'm actually hurting a little bit, if not a lot actually. Alright, so on the 10th is Luxury Grave. Luxury Grave is not a very popular prompt apparently. So I had a few entries, so Dame Butterfly submitted, Droopy submitted, and Sakushi submitted, but nobody else, so that's like 3 of it. Okay, so I'm gonna go through in chronological order, so nobody actually got hearts today. I like seen through all of this, right? So Luxury Grave, so free interpretation of what luxury is, free interpretation of what a grave is. This is what they come up with. Right, so from Dame Butterfly, the priest finished the eulogy reading as a pair of close friends came up to say a few words about the deceased old man, holding back tears as they reminisced about fond memories before it became time for the roses to be dropped atop the casket. There were no dry eyes in sight as family and friends alike lined out to pay last respects and drop their roses, unlike the deceased's 5-year-old grandson's turn came. Until okay, this part here, holding back tears as memorized fond memories about began then for the roses to be dropped. This is passive, just take note. Approaching the edge of the grave, Johnny wore a bright smile, eyes beaming as he peered down the casket. Okay, in here, it can be a little bit more paced out for dramatic effect to paint a picture of contrast between the people who are crying and the people who is smiling. Okay, it's a little bit more towards this. He got the honor of throwing the last rose atop the casket. Okay, mouthing a small inaudible "I'll see you soon" at the casket before dropping his rose before his mother let him away. This part here, not so well developed. It could be a little bit more. The mother scolded her young son for skipping happily along beside her, obviously too young yet to understand how. Okay, too young to understand, no need yet. Too young to understand how one should behave on such a sorrowful during such a sorrowful occasion. Not only did the old man, but he left no inheritance behind. I'm pretty sure there's a missing word in here. All the money and valuables claimed with an insurmountable amount of debt. Okay, this part here, you need to really put it in proper chronological sequence for people to follow in this. Stealing one last glance at the grave, Johnny offered it a small wave and another smile, as long as he kept the... Okay, this is not very well written for the punchline, because the punchline is something else. So long as he kept getting his favorite oversized candy bar, the boy kept his mouth shut, never telling a soul the truth about his grandpa nor the luxury hidden within the grave. This part here is supposed to be a punchline or a plot twist, but because this part here was not very well done, there were too much telling, too much passive, and not enough details for me to sink in the reality of what this prompt is. Therefore, it did not come across as great. So while it did qualify, it's not the best. Alright, let's take a look at Droopy's... Ouch. Let's take a look at Droopy's entry. So Droopy's entry, it was a mess. Even the rescuers were puzzled about how to get everyone out. It was supposed to be a fun event, but the storm just had to hit the city that very night. The streets were flooded with mud and fallen trees from the mountain next to it. Bodies had been washed away to the doors of the establishment, while cars had even rolled with the drivers inside. This in contrast with this, okay? Take a look at how the world setting came to be. This world setting is a little bit more vivid than this world setting, even though you're supposed to put the scene of like wherever they are holding the wake. Okay, probably the cemetery in itself. There is no, how do I say, the canvas is very blank in Dame's entry, but the canvas was already out with rough colors. I can see the kind of the vibe that I'm getting off with. Maybe I can see like red, purple and yellow in this canvas here, and this one is just like a fuzzy outline with black, and you don't even know what that's going on. So if I were to put imagery into painting, that's how it seems. Alright, next sentence, next paragraph. There was a birthday party at one of the hotels, they said. It was an invitation only for the rich to attend. Okay, so here we're actually getting drops like breadcrumbs of what this prompt is about. When the rescuers reached the hotel after braving the waist-deep mud on the street, the hotel entrance was even blocked by Bentleys and Ferraris. So Bentleys and Ferraris, heavily emphasized on rich. At the destroyed fortune, and then rich. The lead rescuer shuddered at the thought. Their money didn't save them from the tragedy one bit. This is good realization. This over here gives characterization. It gives like a flavor, you see, that on top here is lacking. The flavor should be coming from this 5-year-old's grandson that is a little bit different from everybody else in this picture. But because firstly, the picture wasn't so well painted, and then secondly, this Johnny was not given enough like time to develop and like grow onto us, unlike here, which was so well led that over here we know the lead rescuer and it's like we feel them. It's not relatable up here. So that's the difference. If you want to know where to improve, that is where it is. With no way to access the hotel from the entrance without cranes, the lead rescuer decided to go through the balcony or window. His group managed to squeeze through the wrecked windows unscathed, only for their feet to land on the alleged function hall of the birthday party. Okay, this part here might be a little bit too wordy. You might want to break up the sentence for pacing. Right, tables and chairs protruded from the mud that had rushed inside. Good. Even the curtains were pulled from the walls. Good. They saw how a big door was left open as if someone made the mistake and let the mud flood in. Good. However, they also saw how the mud forced its way through the windows. So this part here is good. So as if it was a mistake. So it shows you the insights to how people think if they are like, you know, the rich people in the kind of mind frame from a person who is not a rich person. But yes, we tend to think of them as slightly more arrogant in that sense, and this was like a subtle hint of that. Guys, look at this. One of the rescuers called out for everyone to turn. He then gestured to the center of the hall where the supposed celebrity was supposed to be standing. However, they only see a blackened body adorned with his diamonds. Even around him were mangled bodies that sparkled under the light of the rescuer's flashlight. So I like how diamonds and sparkle, but it's not the diamonds that sparkle there that captured the attention, it's the rescuer's flashlight. This contrast is what makes Jupi's writing so good, because it's so dark. They got buried with their riches, one whispered, not making fun of the situation. Soon enough, they would have to start pulling those bodies one by one. We should hurry before the mud hardens some more. One of the rescuers picked up a ring that lost its owner before looking at the tragic sight. What a grave to be stuck in. So it is a prompt that successfully captures luxury grave, and it's very dark, but I like to see a little bit more droopy flavor of, you know, just being a little bit more twisted. This is like regular tragedy. I want to see twisted tragedy, one that really blows people's minds, like the ones that I saw previously. This didn't quite hit that spot, so I just gave it a cookie instead. I want to see something that's more messed up, a little bit more twisted, a little bit more droopy, you know, not just like the ordinary tragedy things like everyone like once in a while occurs, like, you know, gets to relate to. No, I want to see something that really mindfucks people. This was lacking. It was well written, but it was lacking to read. So Sakushi also gave a little bit of something which I initially thought was by Venus, and then I read it and I was like, oh wait, this doesn't quite sound like Venus. So there are a few parts of this I want to highlight that are good, but the majority of it sounds like a word dump. You want to tell a story in 2000 characters on a Discord message, which is kind of true, and they actually wanted to write gore, but you have like a 400 character limit. So honestly, don't tell a story, just tell a scene. You could just cut a lot of this out if you wanted to specify and like just go into the flavor. You can just throw out all the unnecessary details in a word prompt. Just start with the explosion. Don't start from once upon a time in 1965. There was a boy who was born in this and this country to a household of who and who. His father was who, his mother was who. Cut all of that out. Go straight to somebody dying on the middle of the street and it's 911. That is how you get to save word count and how you get to pull people in. So you have more time to play with it. You don't have to set a pacing, but you can create a world. This is a world building aspect that if you want to do, you can cut out all the other unnecessary narration. Like Venus doesn't do that because Venus is doing Petitlon's universe, which apparently he didn't really submit for this. I don't know what happened. Tomorrow we have a live stream as well, so well, I guess I'll check again what happens tomorrow. But in any case, if you want to actually suck people into your writing as a scene, you don't have to tell from the very beginning. Just cut all of that out. Give yourself more time and more freedom to actually indulge in the scene that you want, using leading words and keywords like Droopy, how she builds this up. Learn a little bit from it. So this was kind of like a scene. There was a world building here, and then the world building was actually really strong here. There was not much plot going on, but it was just description of a scene. This is how it's written. So here, let's compare. The high priest of the Galactic Empire was a rich man, so rich in fact that he owned his own golden statues next to that of the Yoson, the Sun Dragon. Okay, this part here, firstly, it's in passive. Secondly, it's telling. Some believe that to be idolatry, a violation of their religion, but the high priest made sure to soothe all concerns with money, of course. This part here is all telling, but he was not always that well money-wise. Back when he still bore a mortal name, Zalgo was known for his desk job at the Dyson Inc., a company that aimed to surround the system's star with solar panels. Zalgon's job was to prepare the shipping of panels. How much cargo can the space trucks handle? How much parcels can be loaded per day? It was a rather boring job, and Zalgo was aware of it, so to spice things up, he wrote the ramblings. However, some believe that there was more to research than met the eye. That's how Zalgo became a spiritual leader. He was too okay. All these things are irrelevant to Luxury Grave. Maybe not this part, but all these things are irrelevant to Luxury Grave. And then how he became a high priest, and then decided his coffee brand, and then need to find a okay. So these can be removed. The one that actually matters is here at the end of his life. When Zalgo needed a resting place. Single golden casket wasn't good enough. He needed something more, something brighter. It was the high priest's last speech. More than 50 billion people watched the old man ramble and crawl into his large golden spaceship. His destination, the sun, a star brighter than pure gold. His spaceship flew for about 30 minutes before its fuel depleted and fell back to Earth right into the middle of the ocean where it sunk underwater. You see, you can build a spaceship out of gold, but if it needs too much fuel to reach the stars, then you're not wearing enough. And if you're not wearing enough, you might just fall lower than... Okay, this part here is supposed to be what it was, like Luxury Grave, you know? And this part here was supposed to be something of giving a background character, but this part here was completely unnecessary. So this writing was probably done without much plot, structure, thinking, planning. It was just a ramble to do something. You kind of missed the assignment and what it was meant to be, Sakushi. The assignment was a Luxury Grave. You were writing about Zalgo, not the Luxury Grave. If you want to tell a man's story, tell it at the end, because that's the only part that matters in this prompt. Otherwise, make it into a book. Don't do this, right? This kind of feels like an outline more than a story. So I wouldn't support this. It's not the best that you've written so far, and maybe you're like, in the exploration phase, because I can see you are exploring many different kinds of writing styles in this writing prompt challenge. So it's good, but please keep in mind that you always need to have a target and a focus. Stop trying to add everything in. I know I'm not the best cook, but I learned that if you dump all the ingredients you have in your fridge into a pot to try and make soup, it's gonna turn out atrocious. Yes, cooking is actually science. I recently came to realize that, and the reason why I'm failing so much at cooking is because my father is not the best teacher when it comes to teaching things. And yes, so I was taught 15 different steps to make egg drop soup. And I was like, yeah, I can't understand any of those things that are supposed to happen, or why, and it has to be in chronological sequence, because I have no idea what I'm doing in cooking until I watch YouTube videos whereby they explain all the chemistries and the chances of why you need to include certain ingredients, what ingredients can be substituted, how do you know how long, what are the chemical properties of this thing, and what the heat and my point is, do not add too many things in. Focus on one aspect and then improve on that one thing that you want to accomplish. The rest of it are just, they are seasoning and stuff like that. You don't actually need it to be in here, especially if you are short of time. If you only have 10 minutes to make lunch, please don't try to cook steak. It's not gonna turn out well. It will either turn out undone or unseasoned or just completely inedible at the end of it. If you think that putting it on a higher fire would cook things faster, like me, well then you're wrong, because it will turn out exactly like what Sakushi is writing in this prompt. Right, so I guess that's all for today. Hope you guys learn a few things here and there. I know it's my timing has been irregular, and the reason why is because my health has been irregular. So if you want to know more, just get on Discord. I'll always be there. Like, even though I can't really write, it's aching too much to write. I'm still injured. It might take like 3 months to fully recover, maybe 4. But anyways, that's all for me. I will try to do a stream tomorrow, like after my work and before the stream with Venus in the afternoon, so we couldn't get blips up there. But don't worry, we may not be face slapping experts, but we will definitely try. And I don't know how I'm gonna write because I'm having difficulties with everything, but I will still try. That's all from me tonight. Thank you for joining. It's day 10 of the October prompt, and we are